Let's go over how to get VirtualBox installed on a Windows computer and get it up and working. So, in the previous video, we went over what a hypervisor is, why you'd use a Type 2. We figured out if you had a 32 or 64-bit Windows operating system. You also had to go through and get your BIOS set up. So, if you had an Intel processor, then you get this virtualization technology or hyperthreading enabled. If you have an AMD processor, then you're going to be doing this AMD-V. You also need to find a legit copy of the Windows operating system you want to install. So it should be a .iso file, and then you're ready to download VirtualBox. So if you go to virtualbox.org, go to the download section, you can download the Windows host package. You can also download the extension pack while you're here. Once you get it downloaded, then you go through the wizard for setting up VirtualBox. I just pick all the defaults. Once all that's installed, it makes a shortcut on your desktop. And then you can click on that, and then here's VirtualBox. I already have two computers here, but you're not going to have that right away. So first thing you're going to do is under the tool menu up here, you're going to click here, go to extensions, and then you're going to install your extension pack that you downloaded. I already have mine installed. So if you didn't, you just click on install, find that, and install it out of your downloads folder. Go back to the welcome screen. Now we can add a new computer. So we'll go new. We're going to call this test. This is where you select your ISO image. And then I'm going to check this box for skip unintended installation because I don't want it to start right away. And then I'll enter my own username and password without doing it on this next screen. So we'll hit next. This is where you pick up what you need to do for hardware. So you don't want to use over half your RAM. I have 32 gigabytes of RAM. I'm just going to use 4. My processor, I don't want to go over half of that either, but I'm just going to use 2. That'll be enough for what I'm trying to do. Go next. You need to make sure that you have enough hard disk space. So if you click on your file explorer here, you can go to this PC. You can see how much you have free. I have plenty free. So we'll go next and finish. So now, before we power this thing on, we want to do some setting changes. So we want to go to the settings menu. If this is highlighted, we're going to go to the general tab, and then we're going to go to advanced. And then we want to go to the shared clipboard, and we're going to do bidirectional. So we can copy and paste between our current operating system and this virtual machine. Drag and drop, we're going to do bidirectional. And then under the system tab, you can adjust this if you want. We've already set that up. The display, you can max that out if you want. Storage, I'm not going to worry about. Audio, I'm not worried about. The network, this is your next thing you need to adjust. So you're going to do bridged adapter. So what you're doing is, and I don't want my Wi-Fi adapter, so now I have to select my Ethernet connection because I want to be able to use the Ethernet connection on my computer, and I want it to act like it's the same one for that virtual machine. So I need to bridge that adapter. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to use your Ethernet port. You can do serial ports, things like that. I'm not going to worry about all that. We'll say okay. Now, if I started it, then it's going to do the typical Windows startup where you have to enter what language you want to use, all that stuff. But since I already got one opened here, we're going to go ahead and just start one of these so you can see what it looks like. Plus, you need to know where to install the guest installation CD. You could click on Task Manager, see what you're using for your CPU, and I'm not maxing mine out, so I got plenty of capacity. So this is just like you're working on another whole desktop or another whole operating system on your current computer. Say later. Okay. So under the devices up here, you're going to want to insert the guest edition CD if you haven't done that. Or you can upgrade your guest edition. What that does is it updates the drivers and the applications so it's more user friendly in between your current computer and this virtual machine. But that's really all you got to do. And then you're going to want to make sure you do shut down. Don't just exit out of it. I've had it corrupt it before. And last but not least, If you wanted to, if you had this one all set up and you like it, then you could click on it and go to snapshots, and you could clone this whole computer. So you could have a whole copy of it if you wanted. That way, if you mess this one up, you still have a protected copy of one that works.